Hi, I'm Debs. Welcome back to my channel, The Creative Book Shack. I've been inspired over the last month to take part in an event organised by Lee at Lee's Art and Journal Wonderland. And the event was July Junk Journal Challenge 2025. So I thought I would give you a quick flick through of what is actually my first completed journal. So there's the front cover. It's a bit of a gator mouth. Should have made this thicker. Didn't realise quite how much I was going to stuff into it. But there we go. So I'm going to give you a tour. In the front cover here is the list of prompts. There were 23 prompts to cover each weekday in July. Weren't doing weekends, but that gave you a chance to catch up. I didn't do mine in order. I don't know why. I did them in order, but I didn't do them in order in the book. So, to start with, we will look at prompt number 1, torn edges. Stamped background, coffee dyed book page with some stamping on there, bit of material with some stitching, and then the reason I've put handle with care on here is because I wanted to do something that looked like a Roman blind. This is what I came up with. It took a while and it was quite fiddly, but I'm quite pleased with the result. The background is a postcard. I found in a charity shop a box of postcards of Vogue front covers. There's 50 of them. So that was the first one I used. But the edges were torn from this page and inked. And that is my torn edges. Prompt number 2 is a touch of gold. That's on this page. I did some stenciling on the back. I'm not very bling. I don't really do bling, but I did find some gold thread, and I used some papers that I had in my stash from Stamperia. This is also from Stamperia. I found some, oh, it doesn't go in that way, does it? It goes in that way. I found some handmade paper with gold stuff in it and some skeleton leaves, which I put a bit of gold on. Number 3 is botanical. There's botanical. This was a page out of an old book, a botanical book, with some fabric daisies and ribbon wrapped around it. I did some hand stitching top and bottom, a couple of stickers, a couple of doodles, and then on the inside, a couple of pockets. And these cards I'd actually made quite a long time ago. I just watercolour and a bit of zen doodling on this one and just some line work on that one. I've written on them already. So that was botanical. Number 4 was something vintage, and it actually was the 4th of July. So I used some vintage book paper here, music paper, some bits from an old crochet pattern, some vintage lace, bit of Tim Holtz ephemera there, and these, I can't remember what the cards are called, but I bought a job lot of them in a charity shop. Number 5, tag, is right at the back. On the back of the tags, belly bands with plain tags on them. And then on the front, pockets with tags made from, I've written on those as well, tags made from a seascape, but on these I've put paper dolls that I have cut out of scraps and stuck together. I really like making them, and then I just draw a bit on them. So this one is the second one, and this is the third. I don't know if you can see that. The hair is just made of dots from a hole punch. But all the pieces for these came out of my scrap drawer, and I just cut them into shape and then drill them. Number 6, one colour. Prompts number 6. There we go. Music paper background, bit of scrapbook paper. This is the stuff that you wrap round dried flowers or wire flowers. Pocket, some stenciling. Don't know where I found that. Found some beads as well. Just thought they were a bit funky. This is a new stencil. It didn't come out quite as I thought, and so I went around it with just a micron pen, and then in here we have a little notebook, which again is already written in. Number 7, Stamp It. I went completely to town on this one. You know those picture frames that you can get with crisscrosses on, that you can stuff a load of photographs in? I thought I'd try the same with some belly bands. So the background is just coffee dyed paper, and then I stamped on it. The belly bands are just cardboard, cereal pack I think, and then I stamped on them, and then I created, so there's a tag, and that can go all the way down there. A couple more stamped pieces which can go up there. 2 more stamped pieces. We'll put those in the next one down. Where they're coloured, I've coloured them in with watercolour pen. A little postcard that you can journal on. That can go in that one. Another couple of randomly stamped items. They can also go in that one. And a stamped flower in a cardboard flower pot. Number 8 is words. And for this, I just went with a very simple background. Is a collage of things that had words on. The letters were from various magazines, and then an awful lot of stamped and cut out stamped handle with care, because I think people really need to be careful of what they say. Number 11, Scribbles or Doodles. Looks very much like most of my old school exercise books. I was frequently told I had to go home and cover them because they were messy, and pretty soon they'd end up like this again. The rabbit eating a carrot and the backside of an elephant. I don't know if you can see that. See my backside of an elephant? They were favourites. They were doodle favourites of mine. It's even got a Debs Was Here on it. And then we have a window or peek through. Now this one, I stenciled the page. I put some inks on the page, and then I stenciled the page. And I put this frame was just 4 pieces from my scrap drawer stuck together But when I actually put it on the page with this stuff and the image behind it, it didn't really look very clear. So I went over it with just a white marker. I think it was a Posca pen, and black, just to highlight it. There's some stickers on here, and those are stickers as well. Right, number 13 is map. Nope, that's not the map. That's the map. I put some coloured collage papers and some washi tape on the back of this, and then printed out and ripped and inked a map from the internet of the Strip in Vegas. These images here came from a book of collage images that I have that is lovely. Extraordinary Things to Cut Out and Collage, it's called, by Maria Rivans. A couple of stickers. That's about it. Very simple page. Number 14 is a faded photograph, and my faded photograph is here. This I actually scanned and printed out and then covered in white paint, which I immediately wiped off. Then attacked it with some sandpaper and stamped on it, just to really make it look as though it was faded. The edges are inked. This is washi tape. There's some old papers behind it, a few stickers. Number 15 is written in the margin, and in August this month I am joining a few other people to read the poems of T.S. Eliot. So I thought I would use the image from my edition of Old Possum's book of Practical Cats for this. This is a copy of that image, and it's from 1950s, I think, on some music paper with some music stickers. And then I tore the edges off some coffee dyed book pages, tore them, inked them, stuck them around the edges, and wrote some lines from The Jellicle Cats, which is what this poem is. Jellicle cats come out tonight, Jellicle cats come one and all. The Jellicle moon is shining bright, Jellicles come to the Jellicle ball. Oh, that was quite cheerful. Number 16 was a postcard, and actually on the day of this prompt I received some happy mail from a friend of mine, including this postcard, so I thought I would use it. The background for this is all competition things from papers, so you've got a crossword, Sudoku, a quiz, things like that. Gessoed, bit of inking, stamped with postage related things. This was an envelope that arrived in the mail that morning, which I've stamped with a picture of an old post box and coloured with watercolours. And this is the card that was among the happy mail gifts my friend sent me that had arrived that morning. Also arriving that morning was the background paper I used for prompt 17, Found in the Forest. Isn't this lovely? She'd done this and sent it to me, and I just put some stencils over the top of it and then some stamping around the outside. A couple of ghost leaves, skeleton leaves, not ghosts. They're not ghosts, they're skeletons. A few stickers, a braided piece of string. This is stuff that goes on flower arrangement things. And then a pocket which is inked and sewn with a tag in it with more botanical stuff. 18, I also used this background paper, but I used a lighter piece of it and made a collage bird. Like the paper dolls here, I do like creating things out of the scraps. So whimsical houses, animals, people, mushrooms. So these are all from my scrapbooks, which in parts have then been touched up with a bit of white pen and a bit of micron pen. The background was gessoed and then just a bit of very watered down dyes on there. That was a splatter that I turned into a bird. We've got some bird stickers there, a couple of birds up there, and some more stickers there. That was prompt 18. Prompt number 19 was probably the one that caused me the most problems in thinking about what I was going to do. The prompt was tea bag, and I eventually came up with this. I don't even drink tea. There's some more of that paper. This is a round tea bag. I didn't want to do a cup of tea, and so I found a giraffe from the same collage book, which is also where I got these two images from, and used the tea bag as a space helmet. I very badly drew an alien and a sign. I love this image. Added a couple of planets, a few stars. Bob's your uncle. Number 20 was old person. And this very austere looking lady came from a postcard, which I cut out. I used the rest of the tea bag on her. I took some sandpaper to her, which is probably why she's looking so miserable. But I quite like the effect of the sandpaper on the top of the postcard. Just left a bit unglued so she could be a pocket. This is just where I was cutting circles out for something else and decided to use that bit and do some scrawly doodles in there. More scrawly doodles there. Bit of a purpley theme. Prompt number 20. Prompt number 21 was antique pattern, and I had bought some really cheap papers from Temu, and they're so thin you can't, there's not, it's limited to what you can use it for. So I cut it into squares, thought it looked like wallpaper, so I made a little background wall. And then I thought, in the, I don't know about other countries, but certainly in the 40s and 50s in the UK, people used to have ceramic flying ducks on their walls. I don't know why. Decoration. My grandmother had them. So I found an image on the internet and adjusted it slightly. This is an acetate pocket with just some pre-made inked up tags on there and some stickers. Number 22 is ticket. There's my ticket page. I quite like this background paper. I thought it looked like tiles in the station, but I also like this yellow ink on it. I just stamped it with ticket things, put a belly band on there of coffee dyed paper that had been inked, bunged a welcome sign on there. I've got a ticket here that is stamped and slots in there. And the very last prompt, prompt number 23, book page. So I created a couple of books. That was from the paper that my friend had sent me from here. I've almost used all of it now. That was just a bit of scrapbooking paper that I had in my scrap drawer. The back is gessoed, a little bit of inking, lots of book stamps, a few book pages. And then this is my bookworm. I quite like him. He's quite good. That probably should have extended a bit further, but I like his glasses. They're very similar to mine, actually. Anyway, that is the Junk Journal July Challenge 2025 completed. So from front to back, we have these. I have to say it was a lot of fun doing this. It's the first challenge that I've ever taken part in, and I loved it. I would like to say thank you very much to all those people posting videos and pictures on Instagram that inspired me so much, and obviously a very big thank you to Lee. So, challenge over. I'm now going to head off and see what other challenges I can find to keep me occupied now. Thank you for watching. I am a very new channel. I launched last week. I launched because I was inspired by the other people who did this Junk Journal challenge, and I would very much appreciate you liking and maybe even subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye for now.